and he has a good life, but it wasn't always that way. He has also been a convicted felon. He spent a lot of his youth in reform camps. He's had a lot of strife and adversity with attempts on his life, more surgeries than one can imagine. And, just a life that you really couldn't imagine transitioning to the life that he has now. So we're going to talk to him and find out more about his journey and that transition. Hi, Rocky. How are you?
Hello, Miss Kate. Thank you so much for having me today.
So can you just start out and tell us a little bit more about yourself and what brought you to your current path?
Yeah, definitely. So first, as you said, my name is Rocky Singh. You got me thinking I need to upgrade my coffee now after I heard about the dark coffee, the mocha with the acidic free. I was like, oh, wow, I need to maybe try something new maybe. But yeah, like you were saying, I was born in New York. My parents are first generation from India. I believe they were here, maybe the early 80s. I was born in 86. From there, my father quickly moved the family down south. By the time I was, I think, 4 or 5, and started his business and his career path, which is as a cardiologist down there. He was like one of the first ones in the area to be a cardiologist in that hospital system. So it was like a good career decision for him. I think even now, like, it caused some kind of, problem in the family because he was like, we're a tight Indian family. Indian families kind of stay close to each other. And our family's in New York and Canada, and he kind of left that area. So the family wasn't really, maybe, I guess, super pleased about that. And I don't think he did it. He definitely didn't do it for any kind of wrong reasons, but as kids growing up down there, being Indian and, the color of my skin and who I am and everything, it kind of got a little bit confused down there. I remember as a kid kind of just not really knowing where I fit in or who I was. But, that also caused problems with my father and my relationship with him because I was, I'd kind of adapt to things around me. I'd be outspoken. I would talk about it. I'd want to go outside and play with friends and kids. And, as a good Indian kid, as a child, you want to, a couple of big things. And one of them is, go perfect grades in school and study. And then, obey your parents and be home and listen to what they say. And I did very well in school, but the latter of the two with the staying at home thing, I was not that type. I always wanted to be out and about and, just playing with friends or, whenever I was a little bit older. My father taught me how to drive, even sneaking his car out. And that kind of started me and him bumping heads at a young age when I started getting sent around a lot. The first time I got sent away was India. I was like 11 or 12, around there. And, he told me back then it was kind of for a cultural experience. And then, later in life, he was kind of like, you were getting kind of tough to deal with. And I had 2 other kids to deal with also. So, I sent you there to live with some family nearby. And, I remember I have like fond memories from that time. It wasn't really horrible. I did get a couple, got beat up once, for like flipping off an older uncle, like for cutting me off on a bicycle by his son and small things like that. But overall, I got to travel around the country and kind of be free and learn, about the culture and things like that. But when I got back, I kind of got a good bit of taste of freedom, and I was kind of more wanting to be out and about and just, hop in the car and go type of thing. And at 12, I got pulled over for sneaking my dad's car out one night. I was 12 or 13 at the oldest. I was a big kid though. I was a really big kid. And instead of going the next day to tennis camps I was supposed to be going to in Louisiana, my dad and my mom told me I'm going to a school in Mexico that was, for the summer and temporarily, and they have jet skis and swimming pools, and that's what the school had told them. And in fact, it couldn't have been further from the truth. I was headed to like one of the craziest places I've ever been to or experienced in my life. It's called the Worldwide Association of Specialty Programs. They have, operations all over the world. The one I went to 2 of them actually. One of them, the one I'm speaking about now, was Casa by the Sea. It was in Baja California, Ensenada, Mexico. Yeah, it's just crazy. As soon as you get there, you're stripped from everything you have, your clothes, your hair. The lights get kind of dim. People start screaming at you and grabbing you. You're sleeping in the hallway for the first 10 days. You're not allowed to do anything without permission, from standing up to sitting down, using the restroom. You're waking up at 2 o'clock in the middle of the night to count in the line outside in the cold and the rain. You're cut off from the outside world, from family, from friends, from talking to anybody, even inside from talking to anybody. And you're just put into a program of brainwashing, manipulation, obviously mental abuse, tons of physical and sexual abuse as well. Everything from being made to sit on the end of a metal chair and write notes for 4 hours at a time to being thrown off of said chair into a concrete wall, kicked down the hallway, put on your stomach, hands and feet tied behind your back, and you just sit there for, whoever knows how long. You don't even know how long it is really. It's so long that when you finally stand up, your legs and your arms and everything cramp up from being like in one position for so long. But yeah, that was kind of, the schools I went to in the beginning, which kind of did set the tone for a lot of stuff afterwards.